adapt what the child's reality or what the student's interest is to the learning and to the teaching. That's where you get there. So similar to that, even within the workplace, you try to also accommodate their interest and their needs and things that they are really interested in. So typically, because as I said, also, the two challenges I mentioned were attention span and also number two was freedom and autonomy. So for the freedom and autonomy one, I think I kind of answered it earlier, which is that we allow task-based performance. So it's not a typical 9 to 5. You can work at your different time, and basically you take ownership of your work and of all your tasks. It means nobody will come and be micromanaging you. That helps to solve that second item that I mentioned. For the first item, in terms of attention to detail, we make sure that there's enough avenues of communication with them, with the team, so that even though they are required to explain something that will require 5-page writing or typing or email, we make sure that there are avenues of communication where they explain everything regarding the task or they deliver the task verbally to us, which is what's easiest for them than sitting down and really typing that document. And what that does is that during that communication or conversation verbally with them, we get the message of whatever they would have written in a 5-page document. And so it means the pressure to really produce that 5-page email or whatever it is not there anymore. They can do it at their time, especially when it's a time where it won't really go too far, basically, or elapse the delivery period. So those are the two ways for the attention span. Verbal feedback or communication of verbal delivery of tasks, and then for the second one, the autonomy one and freedom, we try to give them not a 9 to 5 typical work environment or working period. So for us, these are the two the solutions that has worked for us within Tongston.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, please.
I quite agree with my learned CEO. The addition I'll make, continuation from where he stopped, is identifying the vision of an organization, your workplace, your academia. The vision is what ought to be done, what should be done, where are we going to? Then the mission is who is going to do it? How is it going to be done? When is it going to be done? So when you are able to marry the mission and the vision of a workplace or any organization, the future is always present in now. It is a question of not being visionary in the sense that, okay, we want to get to this local area, we want to get to Sokoto. The future is always present in now. It's when you are able to identify what is the vision of an organization. Among the children, among the workforces, among the students, you can identify who is the best to do this thing. Ben might be a very good orator, might be a very good advocate, but he cannot do the solicitor work. The best thing is for me to identify who can do the chamber work, who can do the workshop, then take it as a carpenter to the showroom. Ben will just come early in the morning, before then, and then maybe I and Mr. Salima have already tidy up the chamber. He just pick it up and climb it like a pastor, like an imam. When he climbs the host room, whether you are millions, whether you are sad, whether you are depressed, when Michael is on stage, he arrests your soul. All he needs is to take you to a transcendental. Whether you are sad, whether you are divorced, whether you are drunk, you are in his world. So if I identify that who can get my work done in the showroom, I pick Ben. But before then, those who write the lyrics is not for Michael. Michael might not even have the brain to do that. I'm not saying he doesn't have the brain. He might not have the brain to be able to compose very well. You need somebody who is transcendental, who has gone beyond the boundaries too. But Michael has the aura to open from where you are, from your depression, from your divorce, from your multidimensional circumstances. He reduces to the basic happiness, joy. After that 1 hour, you can go again with your depression. But what am I trying to say is identifying what is the vision and what is the mission, and who can get it done, when, how, where, why, then you match it together. The future is always present in now. And as he started, he said reality. When we understand what is reality is one. God, it has no duplicate. when you contextualize it, that is why it begins to cascade. Maybe if I had time, I would have taken you from maybe Egyptian, Chinese, India that set up the reality race and the truth. Then we cascade it to Abraham, Adam, Noah, Jesus. So this is truth. So this is one and the same thing. But contextualization is just the coloring. So in a workforce, when you are training your workforce for the future, Erufai did one wonderful thing in BP and Zayad. I have not seen it replicated. Their reward and recognition is not monetary. Training, taking us to Harvard, to Oxford, where we can meet the other geniuses and professors. That's more than giving us $1 billion. It built inbuilt confidence. Shocked my first lecture in Harvard, I was shocked when I was talking about Adam and Eve. And Indians will say, we are majority, we don't know who is Adam and Eve. I begin to come, there and then I footnote myself, this is related to Abrahamic religion. Who will have told me such cultural shock in my life in Africa? So what am I trying to say is, reward and recognition to reward the compliance in an organization, then non-compliance, there should be mechanism to make sure withdrawal, suspension, termination, so that there should be equal running all the time. Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, before you go on, I think let me add to that, because one of the other things also that I've noticed works really, as he says, tied to the vision, mission, and all of that, whatever you represent as a brand, if those millennials and Gen Zs really believe in that idea too, it's easy to get them to overcome whatever issues or stumbling blocks that they have in terms of really adopting to your processes within the organization. So that's also something tied to vision, mission, and all of those things. If they really believe in it, also it helps really to get them to perform autonomously and without any supervision, and even perform really, almost take ownership of what you are doing as an organization. So just wanted to add that to what he said.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. So I was going to actually bring up this issue of training young people.
Yes.
So there's the concern of sometimes people, employers of labor, how do you manage training people and then in the next how many months they are out of the organization? So what comments do you have on that?
Maybe for me, it's tied to what I just said right now. The thing is, everybody is an individual. We all have personal interest. We have public interest. Government has public interest. People have personal interest, and organizations have professional interest. So when people join an organization, maybe Tongston or Coca-Cola or whatever, they are joining to fulfill the company's professional interests. But you as an employee, you have your own personal interests. And if your personal interest, by the way, is very aligned with your own individual professional interest, you want to be a superstar HR manager in the future and all that, and that organization really gives you that space or almost presents itself as also of interest to that thing that you really want, then it's something that really, that sort of marriage, I think, can happen. And also, I think you need to know also that people would always move. Even I left, I quit my job. I quit, I think, after university, I probably quit 3 jobs, I think, before even, so it's normal, It's just that when they quit, they should go with also, with the goodwill that you have with them, so that even when they're in another organization, you can still work together with them. I mean, you know how they say it's not my father's company or all that. There's a saying like that in Nigeria. But if it's something that is of interest to them, especially your vision and all that, the better they will last longer with you. And also you have to do your part and incentivize them, whether it's by pay or learning and training or any other support that they want. Whatever their interest is, they need to find it within that organization to help that. But, you can't have that forever. They will still go. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, sir. So I think the next question is going to be now talking more generally. What is the role of policymakers in making these younger people? We've spoken about our individual, the roles we play as individual corporate people. So policymakers, how exactly do they come in? this conversation.
Yeah, I'll let Mr. Balamasi take that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think your question is very good, but I will need a clarification to the audience before I answer the policy question. If you look at the world is at war now between what you call maybe capitalism or whatever ideology you can think of, it's because of this policy issue. In the whole world, the world is divided into three or two, any industry across all sectors. The first is the policy level. The second is which is set for the government or whichever other companies or capital set up the policy. What is the policy in agriculture? What is the policy in tech? What is the policy in education? Whatever policy, how you want your policy to be driven, is left for the government. The next level is operation. The operation can be driven by private individuals and by private sectors or private and public, or depending on whatever ideology you want to run your government. The last is regulation, which is independent body to be able to see whether the operators of the economy is running it according to the policy and the laws of the zone. In the policy making, that's where the real brainstorm, that's where the real key issue is. The purpose-driven industry sectors. As a youth, as a next of this country, the best thing is to critique. When you look at all the various industries, we have oil. Is it a blessing or a cost to us? Even at this generation, we discovered oil a long time ago. Is it really a source of blessing? So you understand that if it is the policy paper that is wrong, or it's the operation or the regulation, you understand that we need to come back to the dark room. And it's from the dark room that you have your thinking cap, daring to think very well, where you know the truth, where you discover the reality. Ordinarily, God gave you oil and gas as a blessing, but it is a curse because 1, 2, 3. It is a blessing because 1, 2, 3. It's the policy paper that you review. When you get the policy right, in all religion, in all God words, what he never missed to the prophets and to the people is policy. Why? Pray because prayer will. Fast because fasting will. Do this because it will give you the why of it, the philosophy, the policy. So in all sectors, and that's one thing BPE have done that is commendable. Having all sectorial reform. But maybe in the operation we might score low. But in policy level, we bring the best brain around to set up a paper. But in implementation,